Okay, let's take a look at the Samsung Galaxy Note 2 S Pen. So on the bottom of the phone you have the S Pen drawer, and inside there is an S Pen. And as soon as you take it out of the device, the phone will actually detect that it's going into S Pen mode. So you'll get the S Note pop up so you can very quickly jot a note down. You can alter all of these things through your settings. And then you also get a new home screen which gives you quick access to S Notes and S Notes functionality. You can then draw on the screen and it will record that information. You've then got various functionality within the S Note that allows you to do erasing and so on, or you can use the typing tool, which will automatically pop you into a like OCR mode. So it will then try and detect, with my awful handwriting, the word I'm trying to say, and remarkably got it right. Very, very nice feature. Now, previously, whenever anyone's had a go at doing digitizers and so on phones or any kind of portable device, they've not done a brilliant job of it. And you tend to find it's not very responsive, or you end up losing the stylus. Now, what Samsung have done is they've teamed up with Wacom this time. So what you have is the market leader in tablet design and pen design, working with Samsung to create a proper stylus which is actually intelligent in the sense that it's talking to the phone. So you have a button on the side here which can then enable extra functionality. In this case, I can use it to grab a screen region just by pressing down that button there. And as soon as I press the button down, it communicates that button press to the phone. And I can then copy that to the clipboard automatically or share it with a particular application if I want to. Another key feature is that when you actually take the S Pen out of the phone, you actually get an audible chime and then a vibration setting as well. So you know it's been taken out, and again, putting it back in causes the same thing to happen. You get a bit of feedback that this is properly secured. Another really nice feature, because the pen is communicating constantly with the device, if you happen to leave the pen on the table, walk away and haven't put it back into the phone, you will actually get a message on the screen saying the pen hasn't been attached properly and please go back and get it. A really, really useful feature given how often these styluses tend to get lost. The actual S Pen functionality is really, really nicely done. Being able to actually draw on the screen rather than kind of just stabbing it with your fat fingers, etc. You get a lot more control, but likewise, because of the way the stylus has been created, it doesn't actually have to touch the screen to be able to interact with options. So you can see here, even though the pen is not quite touching the screen, it's about 2mm away, I'm still able to get functionality, like as hovering over these menu items. And then when I actually touch, then it does its thing. And likewise, go into there, but not until I actually want that item. So I can basically do like a peek look and just peek at what these options are before I actually go ahead and make use of them. This also works in other applications as well. So if I come into Gallery, in here I can hover over an image and have it peek it for me, and so I can see what's actually inside that image. If I go into the image, I can then also add a photo note. It flips the image round and I can draw on the back of the image to save for later. So if you take a particular image and you want to add a bit of extra context to it, remind yourself later where you took it or anything like that, or just want to add a funny little note, you can, and then you can just tap on the image to then see the message written on the back. Really, really nice little feature, although something that is pretty much just locked to the Note 2. You can't then share this image and have the information written on the back of the image. You just end up sharing the front of the image effectively. But it's just a nice little bit of functionality to add into the Note 2 experience, as it were. And this hovering option works at different levels within the gallery as well, so you can use it on the top ends as well. Really, really nice. If you happen to be working in an application which has a lot of scroll, for instance, you can actually hover your mouse down at the bottom. Oops. Okay, not actually working on Chrome, but you can actually see here it is working to actually highlight links. My pen isn't actually touching the link, but I'm basically peeking onto the link there. In certain applications, but it doesn't seem to be working in the default in the Chrome browser. Let's just try it in normal browser. Or should we say in the Android built-in browser? Where's she gone? And just see if it's actually working. Yeah, you can see the arrow appearing at the bottom here. Let's just get it into something where we've got a long list to scroll. If we can ever get there. Doesn't look like it. Right. Let's just go to... Okay, so this is the Androidizen website, and if you can see there, now as soon as I've gone with the stylus down to the bottom of the page, it's starting to scroll, but I'm not actually touching the page. Makes for a very, very nice experience. It's a shame this hasn't been ported over to Chrome yet. Presumably this functionality will be coming into the Google Chrome browser, but for now you can use it within the standard Android browser if you want to. But it just makes for quite a nice, fluid experience when you're using the pen and you don't have to actually physically touch the screen to move up and down. Would have been nice to see this as a baked directly into the Android operating system at this level by Samsung, but sadly not, so we'll have to wait for apps to physically update for this particular functionality. Bit of a shame, but it's there anyway. But it just makes for a much smoother experience when you're using the pen and you don't have to keep flicking between pen and finger all of the time, or at least in those apps that do support it. But those are the key features of the S Pen. Everything else is pretty much up to your imagination and what you can do with it. Samsung have provided some really good basic functionality and some kind of quite clever twists on the idea of using the stylus. But really from there, it's what can you think of to do with it? I think for certain strategy games and certain games where you have to draw paths and so on, this would be much more accurate than you know, stabbing with your finger basically. So there you go, that is the Galaxy Note 2 S Pen.